favorite stories about Grandpa Don are when my mom would have girls over to swim and he'd be walking around drinking in a Speedo.
What?
My girlfriends and I would be laying
Don
out.
Draper.
Yeah.
My girlfriends and I were laying out. I mean, he was in his 50s, so, I think that middle-age crises is a true thing.
Uh-huh.
But he had a red Speedo, and
Oh,
my girlfriends and
red.
I would be laying out, and he'd go walking around, and he was dark. I mean, we had a pool, so he was very tan. And one of my girlfriends had her top undone, and he sat there trying to spill beer on her.
Shut up.
And I was
getting me
I
too'd.
was yelling at him. I was just so mad and embarrassed for
Yeah.
sure, But yeah, he was.
That's going to be me, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Speedo, just tan as
No,
fuck.
bring your friends over.
Yeah.
Bring some girls. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Hey, no dudes, chicks only.
Yeah, dude. Listen, no, two girls for every guy.
Yeah.
You ain't coming. That's your entry.
Whoa,
the
whoa.
pool.
Too many dudes. Everyone's got to
Yeah.
clear out.
We gotta cut some fat here, guys. Yeah, this is a sausage
What'd you
fest.
bring? Nothing? Get the
You're
fuck
outta
out.
here. You eating our food for nothing. Oh my gosh.
She had the best English teacher, and he asked me if I wanted to put her in a speed reading class, and I did. And she just completely took off from that.
That's cool.
Literature became her thing.
Really?
Yeah. She loved reading. She took literature. She graduated from BS. Well, she got a degree on literature at BSU.
Wow.
And now she's selling jewelry.
Yeah, right? That's wild.
She's a killer, too.
That is a killer. I don't even have a GED. I don't even know how to use a comma.
How to use a comma.
Yeah, I couldn't stand English.
Well, you don't have to anymore because you have AIs that
Exactly
do it
right.
for you,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I couldn't. As soon as I got my driver's license, I was done. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm done with school. I went and got a full-time job. I was a mechanic. I was done. I would go to lunch, see my girlfriend, and then I would go to work. I was done. Yeah.
I always worked through school, but like my senior year, I got out of school at like 11, and I managed a pizza parlor at the time. It was Lucky 13.
Still
Actually.
there.
Huh?
Still around.
Yeah.
Chris Bailey owns it now.
But it used to be down on
Yeah.
in Hyde
13th,
Park.
Yeah. But Chris Bailey owns Lucky 13 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it like in South?
Yeah,
East Boise now?
Bound Crossing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Isn't it even further than that, I thought?
No.
Oh, I thought it was like out on the way to Lucky Peak.
Yeah, which is Bound Crossing.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that it's like picked up right now because of the river. People are starting to like, hang out by the river and stuff. You can't float it yet because it's still too fast, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Coming down, though.
Yeah.
It's coming down a lot.
Yeah. It was pretty dangerous for a while there.
You grew up in Montana?
I was born in Montana,
Mm-hmm.
Missoula, and then we left there my freshman year of high school.
Your family did?
And came here.
To Boise?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was very rural.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had to drive. We lived about a mile from Capitol High School.
Really?
And I had to drive all the way out to Meridian, and it was like 9 miles every day to go to school. But I tell you what, me and my friends had a great time on our way.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I mean, it was a long drive, but we always it just kind of made our day to start the day just joking around and having fun. Sometimes it was hard to settle down when we got to school.
Was the grid already set up? Like McMillan, 5 Mile? I mean, both.
Well, we were in a fairly new area, newly built. So I think the grid for Boise was set up. Then when they started building out, they put it in Meridian school area. At the time, Cuna went to Meridian High School. People lived out in Eagle, went to Meridian High School.
Wow.
And Lowell Scott Junior High was already there, had been there for quite a while, but yeah, so they just added us to the Meridian district. And
my favorite story that she tells me about high school is that there was a guy that used to play that song Big Balls, and it was always on right when he pulled up to school.
AC/DC?
he had a Trans Am.
And
he had his windows rolled down.
Yeah.
And he'd play that song really loud and drive really slow in front of the school while we're all out at lunch. You know, we're all out in the courtyard at lunch. It was funny.
It sounds like Dazed and Confused.
I don't know.
You haven't seen Dazed and Confused?
No, I haven't.
It's about...
It'd be cooler if you did.
Yeah, it would be.
Matthew McConaughey? All right,
Yeah,
all
that
right,
was
all
one of his
right.
first
I don't think I saw that.
movies that he was in. It's about just coming of age and getting out of high school for some and going into high school for others.
Yeah, Matthew
and just the hazing and stuff like that is because it's based out of this in the 70s.
Yeah,
Huh.
Matthew
I don't remember that at all.
McConaughey's big line from that is, you know what I love about high school girls is I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it was a different world. Like my dad's told me stories of like, you know, just you could, if you were, you know, witty or smart enough, you could get beer and stuff like that. Yeah.
I bought my first 6-pack when I was 13.
Shut up. 13?
I walked into a store in Montana, Missoula, and I bought, I bought 2 6-packs of Old English 800. They were the tall cans.
Yeah.
Then me and my friends took them up, and Missoula's got a hill behind it. And one of my friends lived right at the edge of the hill, and we would get on their swing set and just kind of ride back and forth.
No way.
And we got pretty drunk, but
Yeah, and you're swinging when you're getting faded and swinging at the same time. Yeah, that's a recipe for puking.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, you know, it was different back then. And I'm not proud of this, but we were at a kegger out off of Eagle Road. Eagle Road was like fields, and there was some people that lived there, and they had a lot of the property. And there was a big keg at one of the kids that I went to high school's house, and Nikki and I went, and Nikki got really drunk, and so I took her home, and I was wasted. Actually, I think we split a bottle of Black Velvet.
No way.
And she got really sick, and then I went back. I was on my way back to the kegger, and I drove a 67 Mustang at the time, and I got pulled over. I thought I was going to get in trouble for being drunk, but they told me, we just wanted you to know that you have a tail light out.
They were just letting you know?
That I had a tail light out. So I was like, oh, okay, thank you. I'll make sure to get that fixed. But, and then I just went back to the party, you know, and,
yeah, those are different days.
but I was really wasted.
You were slurring, I'm
I'm
sure.
sure I was going to get in trouble. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I will tell you that in some areas it's still like that, because in Amelia Island, I remember I was probably 21 and I was in the back seat of a truck. My dad was driving, and he had some beers in the front seat, and he was drinking a beer, and we got pulled over, and the cop said, keep it under a 6-pack, and
Shut up.
took off. Yeah.
Some of those rural areas, though, everybody knows everybody.
Right.
And, you know, so.
Dang, that's wild. I mean, but the same, growing up, my dad would polish a 6-pack off on the way home from work.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, we
Yeah.
don't even want to talk about your stepdad.
Oh yeah, Stan was a partier.
Really?
Oh yeah, gosh. I mean, that's probably where I got a good portion of that from, because Stan loved to party. Dude, one time I came home, me and my friends all came home. It was like probably 3 a.m. Stan was listening to 50 Cent live. He had his jeans down around like his ass.
What?
And one of my wife beaters on, and my Yankees hat up off to the side, and he was like,
way.
dude, you guys are missing out, this concert's ripping. And we're like, what the fuck is going on, Stan?
He's by himself?
Just
Yeah.
hammered, dude.
I
Just
was
partying.
in bed. I was in bed.
He was partying. Oh yeah.
That's
and
what he
so
did,
we were
though.
cracking up and partying with him, you know.
What? This concert's ripping?
Yeah,
everything was ripping.
ripping.
What?
Yeah.
I've never
Oh,
even heard that expression.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember our first trip to Mexico, we were in the VIP section, and Stan was like dancing like this, and we were tearing up on the tabletop, like we're getting after it.
Oh my gosh.
He was definitely fun to be with, but once he got too drunk, he
really?
was a little less fun. He would never. You'd have to fight with him to get him to let you drive, and.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There was times. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I was bigger than him too, right? So I remember we went to No Quarter, which is a Led Zeppelin tribute band.
Oh nice.
And like he had snuck a couple shots, like maybe one or two to me, but he was hammered, and so was my friend Reese's dad. We all went together, and I remember we were walking out to the car, and he was trying to drive, and I was like, "Give me the keys," and he was like, "No, I'm fucking driving," and I was like, "If you try to drive, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face." And he was just like, "Here you go."
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a drinking problem. I don't know if he still does, but we planned our vacations around bars and casinos,
Whoa. That's fun though.
Yeah.
That was
he was fun. Sure. And I mean, the kids and I still adore him, but he definitely wasn't.
Just had some gambling problems.
He definitely wasn't father of the year for sure.
Oh my Lord! Sorry guys, no Christmas this year. I tried to double it, but it didn't work out. But you guys can get me something. Give me money because we got to pay this mortgage.
It was always Geri, Lynn, let's get some money out of your 401k.
Shut up. Listen, I got a good tip, babe. I got a good tip on this 3-legged horse. It's a winner. Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah.
So where did you meet Ken?
Kenny's dad?
Uh-huh.
Here.
Oh, really?
I lived here, and he was stationed in Mountain Home.
Oh.
And my best friend and his best friend were kind of the same person. And he wasn't stationed in Mountain Home anymore. He had moved to Virginia, and he came back to visit Geri Chadwick, which is his dad's buddy. And he was also, we hung out, did everything together. But when it was going on a whitewater rafting trip, and I was the shuttle person, I drove them up to Chalice.
Oh, really?
And then, and then they went on a whitewater rafting trip, and then I went and picked them up in Riggins.
He just charmed you?
Yeah, he was very charming. He was, if he liked you, you were top of the world princess,
right.
Just a narcissist.
Exactly right. But I was thinking, that sounds like a manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody could ever love me the way he does, and
Oh, really? So he's getting into your head with those ideas?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, just a freaking.
My friends all think you're ugly. You're so lucky to have me.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
Oh my gosh, that's freaking demonic.
Yeah.
Dang.
He was definitely a sweetheart.
But you guys moved around a lot?
Well, I moved to Virginia to be with him, and then the kids and Kenny and I moved to Iceland.
Ice, baby.
He volunteered to go to Iceland because he didn't want to go to Desert Storm.
Mm.
And so we went to Iceland, and Kayla was born in Iceland.
Really?
And then we moved to Florida, and then we moved to New Mexico. And in between, he had some different schools that we had to go to, like in Colorado and California and stuff. But
what the family would have to go to?
Well, we would go stay in the barracks. Not the barracks. What were they called? The hotels that they would put us up in.
Mm-hmm.
And they were only for like a couple weeks at a time, but so we did a lot of traveling ourselves. But
what did you think about them?
We went to New Mexico and then Germany, and then I left him when we were in Germany.
What part of New Mexico?
Holloman Air Force Base, which was down by El Paso.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the town was called Alamogordo, and I used to always joke that happiness is Alamogordo in your rearview mirror.
Because you're leaving it? Yeah. Oh, really? Just a dump?
Yeah.
Oh, just
It was
dry or deserty.
Everywhere
dumpy.
you went was just restaurants. You'd be in a restaurant and cockroaches are running
Ew,
across
no
the tables, and it was just it was where White Sands is.
Oh, really?
And that's where they did a lot of the testing for the
right.
for the bomb.
Right. I mean, my grandma is a downwinder. She grew up in Monticello, Utah, and so, I mean, everybody's died of cancer. Her backyard were uranium tailings.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they would play in those tailings. They didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
And then she's like one of the last survivors of her whole family. Everyone's died of cancer. They're just blowing up nukes in their backyard, you know.
Oh,
no one knew.
Yeah, she's survived a lot of stuff though.
Oh yeah, cancer twice, COVID twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
Same with my mom. My mom, you guys got to get her on here. She's got the life to tell, a lot of stories. But she's had...
We need to clear like 5 hours of time though. Some of her stories are sick. She remembers her first $1 tip that she got from two very handsome men. She's told me that story like 10 times.
Wow.
Well, her mom died when she was 7.
Oh, really?
And her dad died when she was 15.
Oh,
and her dad was an alcoholic, so her mom, she had no parents from probably about 7 on.
Whoa.
It was just her and her brother Chuck. And she pretty much raised herself. She lived, I can't remember if it was her stepmom or if it was another family, but she lived in the basement, had a cot, and she would bathe in a sink.
No way.
Yeah, as a child. And, she just had a really rough life and still just pressed on. And she's 94 years old now and tougher than...
Yeah, and she fucking reuses wrapping paper and shit.
Wow.
She's so cute. She takes Ziploc baggies and washes them out.
Shut up. Whoa. Just nothing goes to waste.
She was born in the Depression era.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah,
nothing goes to waste.
Wow.
Yeah, I even heard of them stealing ketchup packets from the local restaurant and then using it to make tomato soup.
Dang.
They would boil it.
She was very conservative. I mean, just made sure that every little penny was. But she would buy gallons of milk and then mix them with water and that powdered milk.
Yeah.
And split it all up into several different containers so that the milk would last.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about that, I think about what we were talking about earlier about, younger generations now, like how many of them would be able to survive those conditions.
Oh, for sure.
That shit happens anytime soon. There's a major downturn or depression. How many people could survive off homemade ketchup soup?
Yeah.
Well, and we talk about this all the time. That's when the zombies come out,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, people that are used to eating McDonald's every single day and shit like that. It's like, what are they going to eat then?
Yeah.
They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to eat.
Yeah, all those skills have been lost, I don't mean to be so, generalizing, but I mean, many women don't know how to cook anymore.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, most men don't know how to do a lot of things, so we've lost a lot of these skills.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because Kayla goes places and she won't eat other people's cooking because she doesn't know how it was cooked or if it was cooked with clean utensils in a clean kitchen, and she's really funny about it.
That was me. I was big.
Yeah.
Big on that growing up. Like my mom has some friends that are I would say a little dirty. And so when we'd go to like parties and stuff, because my mom's part of a sorority, and we'd go to like barbecues and stuff, I was like, I ain't eating that. I don't know where that.
My mom's part of a sorority, Beta Sigma Phi.
My mom is too.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, Beta Sigma Phi.
Yeah.
And she has been for like 30 years.
So is my mom.
Whoa, interesting. I wonder if they know each other.
Probably. My mom's been the president of her group many, many times. Actually, she's 93 years old. She was the president for 2 years.
Wow.
She just this year said, I can't do it anymore.
Does she go to the conventions and stuff like that? Oh my gosh, I've got to, because my mom's coming into town today. I'm going to ask her.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. But yeah, we would go to the ladies' houses for barbecues and stuff. I was like, I'm fasting today. I ain't eating this shit.
My dad, I hope nobody's listening to this. My dad used to get mad because they would have, my parents had a pool, and they would have these pool parties, and everybody would bring a sack lunch, and then they'd swap.
What?
And my dad would get so mad because my mom would make, like fried chicken, and, she'd have this wonderful sack lunch for somebody, and then he'd get like a can of,
yes,
a Tupperware bowl with a can of tuna. I mean,
son of a bitch,
with a can of tomato soup, not cooked. And he was like, I sat there and watched your mother cook this wonderful lunch, and I got this.
Trade it for freaking crumbs. I ain't eating this. Oh, that's hilarious. That's wild.
My favorite stories about Grandpa Don are when my mom would have girls over to swim, and he'd be walking around drinking in a Speedo.
What?
My girlfriends and I would be laying out.
Don Draper.
Yeah.
My girlfriends and I were laying out. I mean, he was in his 50s, so, I think that middle-age crises is a true thing.
Uh-huh.
But he had a red Speedo, and my girlfriends and I would be laying out, and he'd go walking around, and he was dark. I mean, we had a pool, so he was very tan. And one of my girlfriends had her top undone, and he sat there trying to spill beer on her.
Shut up.
and I was
getting me too.
I was yelling at him. I was just so mad and embarrassed for sure, But yeah, he was.
That's gonna be me, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Speedo, just tan as
No,
fuck.
bring your friends over. Yeah. Bring some girls. Oh my Lord.
Hey, no dudes, chicks only.
Yeah, dude. Listen, no, two girls for every guy.
Yeah.
You ain't coming. That's your entry.
Whoa,
the
whoa.
pool.
Too many dudes. Everyone's got to clear out.
We gotta cut some fat here, guys. Yeah, this is a sausage
What'd
fest.
you bring? Nothing? Get the
You're
fuck
out
out.
of here. Eating our food for nothing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But they were cool. I mean, growing up, my parents let me have pool parties. They just wouldn't let us have alcohol.
Oh, really?
And of course we knew how to sneak it, pretend like we had
right.
little red Solo cups, and we're drinking Kool-Aid, Mom.
They had red Solo cups even.
I don't think they were Solo, but they
were red.
But either way, you knew how to sneak
Probably
it
with
in.
asbestos.
They were Kager cups,
Right.
You guys wore like asbestos makeup back in the day.
I never really wore makeup, so I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
I just started wearing makeup when Kayla started telling me how to.
Oh yeah.
She's this
queen.
expert at makeup,
Yeah.
and she learned it from her friends because she did not learn it from me.
When we were in Portugal, nobody wore makeup.
No.
And there was one makeup store, and Kate went in there and she's like, I don't even know what this shit is, because she forgot some stuff. Yeah, they don't wear makeup in Europe.
Interesting.
I grew up the youngest of 8, and my next oldest sister was 3 years older than me. And I never really had anybody teach me about makeup or anything like that, because when I was getting ready to start wearing it, everybody was moved out.
Right.
And my mom still to this day is not into makeup, and she wears a little mascara. So I just didn't really know anything, and raising Kayla, she was always
She looked like
into
fucking
it.
Mimi when we were in elementary school and high school. She would put the brightest colors of makeup on all the time.
Sounds like my 4-year-old niece.
Oh yeah.
2 different colors of lipstick. Like, hey, you got 2 colors of lipstick on. Yeah, it looks good.
But the funny thing is it was during the time when girls were wearing like oversized T-shirts and then the really baggy flare leg pants. And so here she's got this Mimi makeup on, and then the rest of her is in a t-shirt, you know, and
Big
it was
baggy fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days for sure. I was in high school by then, but I remember.
I remember we lived in New Mexico, and Kenny and Kayla and I were at McDonald's at Holloman Air Force Base, and there was this kid running across the street, and his pants were so baggy. He was running with his legs spread, you know, and I was like, boy, I hope he never has to get away from the cops.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
He's never going to be able to do that.
That trend, that fit's coming back though.
Is it really?
I just saw, they weren't Gencos, but they were another at the mall yesterday, just big. Oh yeah, I remember the thing. I always wanted my pants to go over, cover my shoes entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Just
belt that
idiots.
hung.
Oh yeah.
like
oh,
we
with
were-
your, oh my
Like we were
gosh.
representing our clique, you know?
Yeah,
like-
always, man.
Oh,
Oh, the little clip
yeah.
belt. Oh my lord.
I always hated that. And I used to always tell Kenny and his friends, it's like, you guys are never going to get girls with those clothes on, you know? And I'd be like, girls like to see a nice butt. Didn't I? I always said that.
I always got the girls, though.
Yeah, yeah. I never had a problem.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they knew what they liked
Yeah.
back then in junior high and high school.
Yeah,
Oh my
I would
gosh.
never wear those pants now.
Well, when
Never
I was
say
in
never.
when I was in high school, they wore either 501s
Oh, of course.
or hash star jeans.
Never even heard of that.
So were basically Kirkland jeans with a star on the pocket.
Really? Oh my gosh. Yeah,
But-
501s.
Yeah, 501s.
I wore 501 still.
Well, but that was like the shit back then. If
Yeah.
you had Levi 501s, or I've never even heard of Hash Star.
When we were in Europe, Levi jeans were huge.
Yeah, they
'Cause-
would pay a fortune for them.
Yeah, you could buy them in the U.S. for like, 30 or $20, and then they were selling in Europe for like hundreds of dollars.
Best thing for Kenny was when the 501s came out with the sport fit, because he was always ripping out the legs and the butt, because he has such a small waist and big thighs.
legs,
So I remember we were in Dillard's, I think, and the lady told us about the sport fit, and we're like, why didn't they do this years ago?
Yeah.
Just cookie cutter pants back then.
Yeah.
No real like tailoring or sizing or anything like that. I guess with the Gencos, geez, I remember even going back to that, just the pockets that were as long as the leg. Oh my gosh, what the hell were we
No
thinking?
kidding.
That's so weird. Gosh. So when did you get into, you're at utility, right?
Yeah.
When did you get into that?
Oh my gosh. When I left the kids' dad in Germany, actually I was a catering manager for an officers club. It was in Ramstein. And they had 57 generals there. And they did a lot of really big events militarily wise. And it was really cool. But I was the catering manager when I left there and came here, and it's kind of hard to raise your kids and work restaurant stuff, work events and things. So I took a job as a receptionist. I took a huge pay cut and took a job as a receptionist for a trucking company. And within 3 months, they made me like the title person, and just always, just kind of progressed. And then I left there. They quit letting me progress. They had me where they wanted me, and they were like, no. I said, I'm really bored. I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And they were like, you'll do what we ask you to do, and we want you. You are where we want you. And it was because I was good with customers.
Right.
So then when I left there, the people that worked at utility heard that I was gone, and one of the guys followed Kayla home from school because his son went to school with Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And so he followed her home from school and came and offered me to go to work for utility.
No way.
And he said that they would create a job. And they did. They created a job. And I started there, and I was the outside salesperson. And then I would also work the service counter for the repairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started, and just kind of moved up from there.
And what's your position now?
Sales manager for all of the stores.
Really?
Yeah.
And all the stores
Well, we own 3. I should say my owner owns
in
3.
Idaho?
One in Idaho and one in Eastern Washington.
I thought there was one in Utah.
One in Idaho Falls.
I thought.
And one in Boise. One in... There is one in Utah, but we don't own that one.
Okay. Yeah. Different owner.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I've met that guy. He's pretty cool.
He is very cool.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because I think there's one right on 21st South, right by our shop.
it's 1580 is the name.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably 2100 South.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're 1260 West,
Yeah.
2100
They're
South.
our rival. They come into our territory and try to sell to our customers. So
Even though it's the same
kind of
utility,
pisses me off. Well,
but
it's a
owned by a
franchise.
different right.
Yeah.
So a different franchise owner is
Yeah.
trying to get into your territory.
Yeah.
Really?
So I always sometimes I have to call them up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna put all my salesmen on a plane and send them down to your place and have them start selling in your territory." And then they would usually back off and say they didn't know their salesmen were doing that, and
You're in another state, dude.
yeah. And I had one of the people in Washington, Auburn, Washington, the utility in Auburn, Washington. They were advertising for salespeople to work in Spokane.
What?
And I was like, so I called them and said, "That's my territory. You are not hiring people out of my territory to work in my territory." And so utility put an end to that one too.
Damn, that's cutthroat.
Yeah.
That's diabolical.
It is.
What?
It is. It's a good industry to work in.
You just gotta stay on your toes.
You just have to stay on your toes.
Sounds like it. Yeah, you got a bunch of people that are trying to freaking get in your territory and do all sorts of stuff. Jeez. Yeah. And what have you seen like over the last couple of years? What trends and stuff?
Well, COVID came at a downward trend. Things were starting to slow down.
Before COVID?
Well, in 2008, of course, there was the big, everything dropped and nobody was selling anything.
And you were a utility in 2008 too. Okay.
Things started getting better. Actually, I started in 2008. Things started getting better and they were going pretty good from 17 until 19. And then 19, they started having a downward trend. And then with COVID, all of the industries, the trucking industry is the industry that keeps us all fed.
100%.
Keeps our teeth being brushed,
right.
ears
Everything.
clean, shampoo.
Yeah.
We do everything. We transport everything.
Right.
And so during COVID, our truckers were slammed. And the rates were really high. They were making good money. So we couldn't provide enough trailers. All of the used trailer stock was bought out.
Wow.
And so we were building new ones because of the supply and demand during 21, we couldn't get steel, aluminum, anything that you needed to build a trailer. So we were allocated and people were just begging us for stuff and everything was just flying out the door. That was really easy time. We're starting to see, not starting, it's probably been going on most of this year, but it's just a downward spiral. The rates have gone way down. I had a guy in my shop the other day say that he had to take a haul for $1.68 a mile, which during the peak of COVID, it was like, $5-6 a mile.
Whoa.
So by the time you're paying with fuel inflation,
right,
the rates going down, the truckers are paying a fortune for trailers now because they're so hard to find. So they're just really having a hard time staying in business. And now on top of all of that, they're having to electrify and try to meet the regulations of the GHG2, the regulations for carb compliance in order to go into California. And so they're going broke. There's a lot of trucking companies right now that are just really struggling.
Just to even go into California,
Yeah.
just to make a delivery. And what's his compliance measures?
The compliance measures are, so of course they want them to be 100% electrified by 2025.
2 years?
Yeah.
Who even makes even a long haul fully electric truck?
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. So you can, but you can go for like 4 hours at a time. So somebody coming from the East Coast to go into California, I mean, it would take them forever to get anywhere. The California electrification laws are basically based on California. They're not thinking about all the steep hills, all of the cold weather. Batteries don't work well when it's freezing. You know, Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Another thing that I looked up too right before we did this, because I knew you were going to be on, is that there's a lot of truckers that are saying they're just going to drop off before they get to California.
Yeah.
And so I guess Gavin Newsom was talking about doing a state-owned trucking electrical company that would transfer from Nevada and these other places to around where they're supposed to go. But
kind of like a port.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll drop off your trailer, then the state-owned will deliver it within the state.
Yeah.
And that'll work for a while until the federal government decides to take up on California's laws, which they are voting on, you know. So.
Well, I think the other thing that I noticed too is that they're going to be electric trucks. So they're going to be able to drive for 4 hours. I mean,
an electric truck, the batteries are anywhere from 6,000 to 14,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Just the batteries. So that adds that much weight. So that's that much less that you can load and haul. And not even to mention, if it's a refrigerated trailer, they want those to be electrified. Those batteries are another 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. You know, so, and the funny thing about it is right now, the batteries hang from the floor. Mm-hmm. So the floor's got that added weight pulling down on it. So the trailers aren't going to last very long. But I'm really excited. If you look at, we're really trying to progress. One truck in 1988 used as much carbon emissions as 60 of our trucks now.
Wow.
So we are making a big improvement.
Right.
A big improvement. And right now they're just trying to push the improvements faster than we can handle.
Yeah.
We don't have the electric grid for all of us to electrify. We don't have the money. The trucking companies need to have the money to electrify. Electrification is very expensive. Yeah. And there's just so many things, but nobody opposes to doing electrification, or actually hydrogen is really big right now. Hydrogen has been tested in Europe and it's coming to America, and everybody's, pretty impressed with that. But we need to do it at a speed that we can handle, that the Americans can handle, the trucking companies can handle. I mean, if we didn't have trucking companies, people do not understand that, especially the people making the laws in our government. They would not have toilet paper. Right. Look how fast toilet paper can run out. Right. People can start fighting over toilet paper. They would not have toothpaste. They would, not be able to find clothes or anything else. Everything. I think it was like 80% of our states are 90% relied on the trucking industry. So all of their transport in and out for goods are 90%. They might have a train come and do some of it, but it's
only 10% or less that come from trains. But let me ask you this, and maybe you would know more. As far as I've seen, Tesla is the only company that's even close to creating a fully electric truck.
No, there's a Volvo. There's a couple of other companies, and I know that Kenworth doesn't have it yet, but they're working on it.
All right.
And I'm sure they will have it. But I believe I saw Volvo. Volvo's out of Europe.
Yeah.
And I think they have a hydrogen truck.
because I know Toyota, in fact, they have lessened research into battery and put more into hydrogen.
Yeah.
They're big into hydrogen.
Yeah, that's what I was, that's one of the things that I have a complaint about is all of these demands are to go electric. So all of these trucking companies are putting every penny they can into electric, and hydrogen's coming out.
Right.
So when is California going to make these laws saying, okay, we're getting rid of electric because we don't have the grid for it, so everybody has to go hydrogen? So the billions of dollars these companies are putting into, I mean, a large company is going to easily put, 30-40 billion dollars into,
Yeah, you have to.
Easily.
Yeah.
And the billions of dollars they're putting into that, all of a sudden California is going to go, oh no, we don't like electric. You got to go hydrogen. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid that we would let that happen, but we do.
To your point, I think when it's going to happen is because I've been stuck in traffic from LA to Long Beach for 4 hours before. And so one of those are those refrigerated trucks. They die on the highway.
Oh, yeah.
Or they start dying on the highway and all that food goes bad. I mean, that's when you're going to start having them go, oh, shit, we made a mistake. Let's go hydrogen. And then.
Well, as we were talking of progress, they are trying to develop a road that can
I've seen that.
charge the trucks. Mm-hmm. They're coming up with a lot of really neat things. We're just not there yet.
Not even close.
So let's not try to jump things and ruin the United States.
Right.
Let's try to go at a progressive speed that we can handle, such as from 1988 to now. Yeah. 60 trucks are running the same emissions as one, so.
And if we could change, and if the more logical progression would be to hydrogen, because hydrogen's byproduct is just water.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, look at the infrastructure in America alone. Like, you ain't going to change all the major highways to those roads anyway.
What are you going to do? Put chargers instead of gas stations, and you're going to put chargers do you have to have them pretty much every mile, because you never know when the guy's going to run out.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I know, they're saying that like a trailer can go for 4 hours. That's not loaded.
Oh, it's not?
Well, they say it's loaded, but the heavier it is, the less time it can run on a charge.
And conditions.
Yeah, and conditions. And, the more you go up a hill, the more you go down a hill. All of those things are taken into account. But right now, people aren't advertising that. They only tell you as much as you want to know.
Of course.
So,
yeah,
I mean, the same thing with that.
That's like the Ford F-150.
I was just going to say that. Yep. My dad was on the list to get it.
Yeah.
And then once it came out, and he's like, I can't even take my boat to the lake and back, because the towing range is only 100 miles. Yeah. So, they tell you what you want to hear. And then once it actually gets out there, an independent tester start testing it, or they've had a lot of problems with batteries because of the weather. So cold and heat is going to greatly affect those batteries. So, and another big point is, because it seems like California is really the ones that are heading this whole movement, and they have grid problems right now.
They have grid problems right now. But I have a lot of customers in California. Mm-hmm. And they told me, I was like, don't you guys get in trouble for not being CARB compliant? Because they're still running old trucks and trailers. And they said they only check them on the border. They don't really check the companies in California. They check the people crossing the border.
Oh, yeah, because that's forced. You have to go into the port. Whereas, if they, like Highway Patrol, they're probably not looking and inspecting. That's a good point. So, you've got all these local, domestic,
don't even worry about
running late 80s freaking Kenworths that are just spouting out soot. For sure. That makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole thing is it's to me, just very unorganized. And like you were saying, for whatever reason, they're trying to jump 10 steps instead of one. Yeah. And what I'm seeing is just backfiring. Right. Like, it's going to backfire if you're saying, hey, man, we have to go fully electric by 2025. But even right now in California, the Tesla charging stations are oh my gosh, the lines to get in. They're having problems with the stations being broke down,
Yeah.
or so yeah. There's just
The other
how are you
thing I
gonna do
heard
this?
too is insurance. So like my friend got his Tesla, he bought it, and then he went to get insurance, and he said his insurance was through the roof on it, and that he didn't even like calculate that.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yes,
anytime you buy an expensive car, I mean, my Mercedes insurance is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're through the roof, and
But
the
I-
Tesla's through the roof.
Well,
and that Tesla costs less
Tesla's
than your
double.
Mercedes.
No, not really. A used Tesla maybe, but the Teslas I've been looking at are like 100,000.
Oh yeah, for sure. Brand new Model S is over 100.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A Model X, the SUV, it's like 125.
Yeah.
What's
A
the
Model 3, which is the lowest model,
Yeah.
it's 50 to 60.
Really?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
I just remember, well, and it was the last time I looked at them. It was like
New.
34th. Yeah, for a brand
Yeah.
new. But I haven't looked at the prices. in
There was a used one that I saw.
We're talking 2016.
Yeah.
It was like $30,000 for the base model.
Yeah.
Right, but then what? That's how they get you in.
And then you buy a new battery for it, and
Or interior options. So that's just once you start optioning it out, that's when price goes way up for sure. Wheel options, interior options, autopilot options. So there's so many different options that I think the autopilot options like around 10 grand in and of itself.
The Kevin's dad's got the Ludicrous.
Oh, that's
the
150.
SUV. Yeah, it's 150. But for as fast as and as cool as that car is, it's a nice car for 150K.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said he likes his Tesla more than he likes his Ferrari.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Noah I like Teslas, but after we've driven them a few times, like in Vegas or Florida, the hassle of charging it is I would never buy a Tesla.
Really?
Never.
well, not until they have the infrastructure for
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can charge
And that's
fast.
another thing. That's another thing in the trucking industry. It takes 15, 20 minutes to fuel up a truck.
Exactly.
It takes hours to
Right.
to charge a truck. So that's just more downtime that they're not making money. If they're not
Exactly.
making money,
They're losing money.
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, if they have to drop their rate. I mean, if you're going from $5 a mile to $1 something, you can't afford to sit. And especially, like you said, if you only have 4 hours of drive time, and that's not based on load or condition or
Right.
anything like that, I don't know what the agenda is, behind the
either.
scenes. But it's just squeezing the blue collar worker or the guy.
that's exactly who it's affecting are
For sure.
the owner operators, and
Right.
they're going out of business. We have so many people a day calling us asking us to buy their equipment,
Really?
but the prices of everything is so volatile. I mean, one day it's $60,000 for a used 2013 trailer, and then the next day it's $18,000. So it's really scary to purchase anything when you don't know where it's going to be at. And all
Yeah.
of the people that own them are like, look, I bought this trailer a year ago for 120,000 and you're only going to give me 60,
Yeah.
So
dang.
there's just a lot of problems right now that we have to try to figure out. But the worst thing is, talking about Teslas, is a couple of my bigger customers have Teslas on order, and it's been years.
Shut up.
I mean, they can't get them. So, yeah.
Like that truck that he took orders on years ago now, and ain't nothing coming out on that. So
Yeah, I think
interesting.
our friend Phil has like 2 electric trucks that he still hasn't even gotten yet. And he said one of them's been like 2 years that he ordered it.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, they ordered them years ago, but the trucks are kind of like our cell phones. They just keep progressing and getting better and cooler. So the one you ordered 5 years ago
Oh yeah, by the time you get it.
isn't going to be the
Right.
latest and greatest,
Right.
You know who has one in town is that Ronda Rousey chick. She's got a badass electric truck. I saw her rolling around that. She's the one that holds the
WW boxing or
Ronda Rousey lives in Boise?
Or maybe it's not Ronda Rousey. It's the gal that owns Corey Barton's. Like she sells.
Oh.
She doesn't sell all of them, but she has the brokerage for Corey Barton's houses.
I don't.
So
I don't
she's
know.
like.
I know her name is Rhonda though.
Rhonda something.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ronda Rousey. But
Ronda
that's
Rousey
the
comes to Idaho a lot. She loves Idaho. She buys from Kayla's company.
Really?
She buys her jewelry from there. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Everybody loves Idaho.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was with my ex in the military,
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here.
I moved around, and this was the best place that I lived. You know?
I think as far as raising a kid
Yeah.
and safety, it's
definitely.
the only thing I don't like about it is the climate. I don't like the cold. The dry destroys my sinuses.
Oh, everybody has sinus problems here.
Yeah.
Raising the kids wise. But, in Germany, it was the only problem with raising my kids in Germany was the DOD schools. I mean, they had buses, and they had the 16, 17, 18-year-olds riding with the kindergartners, and the drinking age was like 16. So they were getting shit-faced on the way to school.
What?
With my kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a kid that liked peeing on little kids too.
What?
Yeah. I got beat up all the time.
He got beat up because I called the base commander and told on them.
That wasn't the only reason.
They didn't like that.
Because I'd always stick up for everybody. And they didn't like, the kid that...
Right. Standing up, even though that's what the military
Kenny's
is supposed to be, isn't it? Standing
Kenny's
up.
always been that way, though. He always sticks up for the other guy.
So going back to the trucking, though, what do you think... is it the supply chain thing that's making like the rates go down? Or is there more truckers getting into the game? Why would the rates go down?
So the rates are going down for used, but the new are still very expensive because of the supply chain.
I mean, driver rates.
Oh, the driver rates are because all of these companies are going broke. I mean, everybody's going broke.
So they're all just
undercutting
their rates to get the business?
To get the money that they need to pay their employees,
because there aren't enough loads, or
there aren't enough employees. There aren't enough loads. I have a hard time getting a trailer loaded from the East Coast to Boise.
Really?
It used to be easy. People would jump at the thing. And the other problem is, right now we have a big strike at the ports.
Government employees are striking?
The union.
Oh, they're union ran?
So we're starting to get a big load of ships out there at the ports waiting to unload. Steel, aluminum, all of those products have been very hard for the companies to get. So it's just impossible to get anything other than cookie cutter trailers. I mean, people want all of these special specs, and none of the manufacturers are doing special specs right now because they're having a hard time getting aluminum. They're having a hard time getting chrome. They're having a hard time getting steel.
Say that 5 times fast.
I can't.
I didn't know that the port strike was still going on.
No, the port strike is a new thing.
I thought it's been for like a year.
No.
Oh.
No, they talked about the port strike a while ago. The ports were backed up because of COVID.
Right.
And then they talked about the port strike, and I somehow I think they worked out their issue, but now they're on strike again. And they are on strike. Everybody's on strike right now. I mean, the writers for Hollywood, everybody's on strike.
What I heard from my friend Anoke, whose twin brother works in the Long Beach port, he was telling me that during COVID, they used to have a rule that once you hooked up, you had 45 seconds to unhook from it and then on to the next one. But during COVID, they had to sanitize it. So between unloading each one, now it was anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes because they had to go through and sanitize all of the shipping containers because of COVID regulations. And so he said it was the most boring job ever because instead of him like handling the control all day, he would handle it, put it down, and then sit there for 20 to 45 minutes while they cleaned it. And then it was on to the next one. But that's why we were so backed up, is because they had new COVID regulations.
And it wasn't even, I mean, everything. They were low on employees because a lot of people wouldn't go to work because of COVID. You know, and that's happening at all the manufacturing plants too. I mean, they lost a lot of employees. So they got a lot of people in that they had to completely retrain. But the fact about the containers in California, they used to cost like $10 an hour to unload, and then it got to be like $30, and I mean the prices just kept going up and up and up. So that's another reason why like products, like I remember 3M, just the sticky tape stuff, I mean that's like tripled in cost.
Whoa.
And they're, because it comes from China,
Right.
and they have to unload the containers, and just to pay for the shipping and to pay for the unloading docks and things like that. The prices have gone up, so they pass that on.
Dang.
I also think that there's like a huge push for people to want to try to make more money. Like this kid tried to hustle me on some Pokemon cards the other day, and he said he used to work at McDonald's and now he's selling all of his stuff so that he can buy nicer cars. And he's like, I'm a huge Andrew Tate fan. I met him out at the fireworks stand out in Caldwell to buy some Pokemon cards from him. But he had tried to take out all of the ones that I was looking for. And he's like, here. And I was like, whoa, I got to look through them first, you know? And then he went and got all the ones I was looking for out of his car. He pulled them out of the book. And so I was like, hey, man, I don't deal with people like this. So I was getting in my car, and he's like, oh, I'll take less for it. What do you got? He's like, I got to get rid of all this stuff so that I can buy a nicer car. And I was like, man, if you're working to buy a nicer car, you should be working to like start a business or something, not buy a nicer car. He's like, well, you get the car and then you get the job.
What?
Yeah.
That's some backwards ass thinking. Right
Totally.
there.
But he said he was doing Tate's Hustler University.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude. And I mean, hey, power to him, you know?
Yeah.
He said he quit his job at McDonald's and now he's trying to hustle online. He said he's going to buy storage units. Like you can bid on them.
Of course.
Yeah, he said he's doing that. He said he's selling stuff on Craigslist and he's trying to make some money.
I used to like to watch that Storage Wars or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, my dad buys storage units. Yeah, he's big into that stuff.
Somebody should buy Kenny's. He's got a lot of stuff in his storage unit.
that sucker is full, man.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That would stress me out.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of furniture because when
Right.
Kate and I moved in together, I didn't know this, but the vibe, we needed new furniture for the new place. And same thing with this place, too. She tried to
Of
get
course,
rid of
that baby chair.
Yeah, she tried to get rid of the couch. And I was like, I bought fucking 3 couches in 1 year. We're not buying another couch, lady. So we still got the same couch, but.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's Caitlin.
Yeah, listen, that's just like my mother.
She wants things
For sure.
She wants things perfect.
Yeah.
She wants the vibe, the look, this baby shower, you know, she's trying to get everybody to wear neutral colors to the baby shower, and I'm sitting here just waiting for the first person to show up in hot pink, you know.
Yeah.
Caitlin will probably puke.
Oh, yeah. Anxiety goes through the roof.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
I fucking told ya.
Neutral colors.
And it's funny because, you know, they talk about, Caitlin's like, I wonder what his nickname will be. And she said, well, should we call him KJ or Casey? And I said, the kids will pick his nickname.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't pick their nickname.
Right.
That's just like her mom trying to fucking pick her name,
Yeah.
Nona.
She's like, Yeah, I'm going to have him call me Nona. What are you going to have him call me? I said, I'm going to have him call me whatever he wants to.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenny called my dad Pom Pom.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Pom-pom.
we don't. Why are you
Yeah.
trying to control everything? Yeah, just let it happen.
But it's cute. I mean, it's
Sure.
cute that they would think that will happen. But
Oh, because it's Judy's first grandchild too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Gary and I get to go pick up a Porsche right after this.
Nice.
For who?
For his tonight.
Yeah, we're doing like a
for
photo
tonight.
shoot and stuff. Little party.
Kayla is going to that. You're going to have fun.
Yeah, I was surprised. Kayla was one of the people that he posted about. She said it was too expensive to go.
What?
Kayla,
Too expensive to go.
yeah, because Brian and her were talking, and she said
Oh,
it was
really?
too expensive to go. Yeah, and then he did that post on it.
Oh,
It's like, dude, it's a perfect networking opportunity. You know, like tons of rich people are going to be there. Kayla's like, $130 is a lot, but Kylie bought her ticket.
I mean, to me, $130 is not a lot.
Yeah.
For dinner and a show.
Yeah, especially a 3-course meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost spent that the other day on our lunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we
You
didn't-
almost spent that. I like that.
I buy lunch too.
I know.
100%.
Yeah.
Every time we go out to eat, I make good money, but he makes me let him pay. And it's just
Of
like,
course. Yeah. We
it
can't
makes
let
you
our
not
mom
want
pay.
to. I know. He's like, he just acts offended if I want to pay.
I let her win on breakfast every once in a while.
Yeah.
She'll
Nice.
fucking blow, or she'll like go to the bathroom, and I totally know what's going down too, because she'll be like pulling her card out. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Are you buying something
It's
online?
the only way I can pay, you know.
Love it. So what do you think, like, what do you project over, like, let's say the next 12 to 18 months? What sort of trends do you see?
So I also run a truck equipment department. We build, like, somebody will buy a Kenworth truck, and then
Yeah.
we'll put the dump body, snow plows, sanders, de-icers, and everything on it. It's pretty cool. That's the pride of utility. We do an incredible job with that. We're well known as being the best at that. We set it up so, like, Idaho Transportation
Of course.
Department, all of their snow plows and sanders and de-icers and stuff. We've done all of those.
Parks department, stuff like that. Yeah.
So anyway, that went slow for a little while, and it's starting to pick up.
Okay.
But our trailers, I mean, we're not getting phone calls.
At all?
They're not. Yeah. We're having a hard time selling right now. So I feel like because, like, the municipalities and stuff are still going to continue to buy product. They didn't really buy product because nobody was at work during COVID.
Right.
But now they're starting to catch up. But the trailers I believe our trucking industry is going to have some really big problems. And I think that people in the United States are going to learn that they need to appreciate their trucking industry.
How do you think that people could appreciate it more? Because what can they do if the prices are going up because of all these factors you're talking about? Like, hey, if the price of unloading a trailer off the port goes up by 3, if all of these other ancillary costs are going up, how do you think that the average consumer?
How many people do you think actually understand where they get the products from and how they get there?
Oh my gosh, 1 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying by appreciate. They're sitting here thinking, making all of these rules. Truckers are a pain in the butt. You know, we hate truckers. We hate the trucks on the road. You know, there's just so much neglect for the trucking industry.
Yeah.
And if we stopped.
Oh my gosh, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, because it could.
But there are people that didn't know that trucks and trailers detach.
I wonder how long it'll be until those vegans start eating McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Oh, I mean, yeah, when you get
Can't get their lettuce.
But where does McDonald's get their French fries and their cheeseburgers?
Right.
And those are all transported with a
Yes,
trailer.
good point.
I guess the only
Yeah.
place that'll be open because it's trucks and trailer. They have their own trucks and trailers. Is
In Mom's Garden.
yeah, or the what is that? There's that chicken place.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. They have their own trucks and trailers.
But
Yeah.
they still have to
Actually-
get the chicken. The chicken still needs to get delivered for them. Like even with McDonald's, so Simplot, they have their own trucks and trailers. So they're the ones that are, picking up the potatoes. But if there's a problem within that part of the supply chain, then McDonald's is affected or Chick-fil-A.
Their French fries aren't going to be transported to
Right.
the different Chick-fil-A warehouses
Right.
where,
In fact, I would be curious as to know where Chick-fil-A even gets their potato, because Ore-Ida and Simplot, I mean, those are the two largest potato manufacturers and processors. So I'm sure Chick-fil-A is not processing their own potatoes.
Yeah.
So it does. Everything is interconnected.
It's all interconnected
Big
with
time.
the trucking industry.
Right.
So it's definitely, I think, going to become a problem.
Yeah. It's just so weird, because
Plus, you need drivers.
and
And
I
if
didn't
they're
know
not
that they
making
were,
any money, they're not
Yeah,
going to drive.
Of course not. Yeah, and if drivers are quitting because the money isn't there,
They're begging for drivers. I hear some of the trucking companies offer a hiring bonus if they hire you on. I know at some point of COVID, they were offering like $20,000 hire on bonus.
No way.
And I mean, I don't think it's that high right now, but I still think they're paying pretty well just to hire you.
Dang.
But you have to sign a contract that you're not
Right.
going to quit for so long, and but yeah, it's hard to find drivers because they're not getting paid because they get paid by the load.
Right.
Well, here's the other industry that I just popped in my head because I remember the truckers when I was in North Dakota. They went on strike for a little bit too, and that was like a big ordeal. So
You have oil transportation.
even your oil
Right.
is
Well, everything.
delivered by truckers.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, everything.
Yeah, literally everything is delivered by truck.
Well, even in the train industry, if people are thinking of that as transportation, how do they get the things to the trains to load them?
Yeah.
It's everything, the entire thing, everything that we buy, consumers need.
The whole machine. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just, to me, like until, sitting down with you, I didn't really realize the scope of it. But because I focus mostly, on the money itself, real estate. And so to me, like there's just all these industries that are just on the verge of like something's gonna pop. There's a shoe that's gonna drop at some point, whether it's the trucking industry, commercial real estate's crazy right now,
Right.
Big downturn there. Just so many things
Yeah.
to this economic machine.
It's funny because it's like you taking the words right out of my mouth because on our show tonight, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is like every week we're giving you these things that are about to freaking pop. And I mean, we've never usually, it's like, oh, the real estate market, with China with the real estate market. But in this instance, we're talking about like a full blown hurricane because everything is about to pop.
Well, how do the construction people get their wood,
Right.
their shingles? Everything is transported by what?
Trucker.
Truck or
Trucks.
trailer.
My gosh. Yeah. That's so crazy.
And I've been seeing a lot more trucks broken down on the side of the road lately. And that's probably because they're older trucks.
So that goes back to the supply chain as well. We have some things that we are waiting to fix somebody's trailer,
Right.
and it's 9 months out.
Whoa.
The supply chain is just ridiculous. It's hard to find compressors. It's hard to find fuel pumps. Just everything. It goes back to the supply chain. So all these trucks are trying to get put back together with duct tape. I actually saw a truck that their hood was duct taped.
No way.
But it's part of everything that just all adds up into a vicious circle.
Yeah.
So.
My gosh. Well, gosh, good one. Thanks so much for taking the time and enlightening us. Because, man, just another thing I got to freaking be thinking about. For sure. My gosh.
Well, the good thing is that, you know.
Geri and I are loaded up on some food, though. I probably got you probably have more than I do, but I have like 6 months of food that Kate and I could live off of. So.
Oh, yeah, I got a couple years. For sure.
Well, you know, it's that, and you have to have people that you can trust and respect around you. You know, Kenny has definitely made sure that I have stuff to save my, you know, if anybody tries to rob me or anything, you know, he made sure I had a safe and a gun, and
nice.
I mean, he takes good care of me. So
yeah, for sure. Love it.
I don't think I could climb a fence, but he could push me over.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully you don't need to climb a fence. What the hell
that's just what I, you know.
Yeah.
When Kenny was little, one of his uncles was teasing him because he didn't know how to climb a fence, and his uncle was like, God, that was the first thing we had to learn to get away, you know. So I think Kenny was like 7 or something, and his uncle was teaching him how to climb a fence, you know, jump over the fence. You got to know this so you can get away.
I don't even fucking climb anymore. I just knock them over, baby.
Yeah,
boom,
run through them.
Just run through it.
I'll clear a hole for you, mommy. Fit right
there
in.
you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just kick it down.
Yeah.
There you go. That's easy. Unless
You
it's chain link, that's gonna be a little tougher.
Just body it.
Yeah.
Body yada 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 yada.
Kayla once asked me, you know, they're always fighting over who is my favorite. Kenny does it as a joke, but Kayla is serious about it. But Kayla once asked me, she said, Mom, if we had an apocalypse and there was nothing but zombies around, who would you want with you? And I just busted out laughing. I mean, Kayla pukes at the sight of blood, you know? and I was like, I can't believe you're even asking me this. I said, of course I'd want Kenny with me.
Yeah.
She thought I would say her.
Yeah, of course. She tried to bait you and then backfired.
I'd want my buddy with me, you know. No, I'd want the person that's going to protect me the
No
most.
way. You're going to leave me high and dry.
She would want me there because I'm probably the only person she can outrun.
Oh my Lord.
She'd be like, they'd be busy eating me while she's just
making a getaway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was pretty funny. I couldn't even believe she asked me that.
Me neither.
Who would you want?
I think that most people in my life would probably pick me to.
Of course.
Yeah. I've been training for this my whole life.
Yeah, I've been freaking waiting eagerly. Get in
All
there.
Right.
Nice. Good one.
Woo!
Good one. We made it, guys.
Yeah.